So I have a new system where top 5s, top 10s, we have what's known as nominees. We'll get to those later, so focus on the end quotes. Because the nominees are things that we think deserve to be, like in the top 3, that deserve to be winners, but we're going to select only one winner. So it's going to go from like 10 to 4, and then we're going to have a nominee section. We're going to pick 3 that we believe or deserve to be winners, or be real, because we want it to be really close. We want it to seem like 3 is pretty far from 1, and 2 is just right behind it. We want it to seem like nominees are really close together, and they deserve to be like on par with each other.
First things first, I want to clear just a little bit of fresh air before we get started. Think of it as the only 0 on this list, because we know anything that's a 0 is confirmed, is pretty much confirmed. Frozen is that world. It's got charming characters, it's got decent songs, people won't let it go. The location is decent, the ice will look great, enemies will probably be all ice related, surprise surprise. The town would look pretty, you know, everything's pretty decent about it. I mean, my brother despises that film. I don't like it as much as another film, which is already in the game. You'll figure it out on your own, do math. But it's in the game. We don't need to talk about that, so let's move on to number 10. Number 10. I love Star Wars. And yes, it's a stretch. It's a stretch. We've already kicked out Avengers and Marvel and stuff like that. It shouldn't be in the game. And yes, Star Wars is a bigger stretch, but hear me out. Hear me out, okay? Star Wars makes a lot of money. It's popular. Everyone loves it. And we've already had another game that's live action that was also popular. You may have heard of it. It has Johnny Depp in it. So why can't Star Wars work? It's got great characters. It's got lightsabers. Think it's a lightsaber keyblade. There's nothing wrong with it. He can look like a Padawan. He can have the outfits. They will look great. Locations are vast. Star battles. All these great things. The problem is, there's too many trilogies to pick from. I know, there's 3 now. There's 3, because we got this new one going on. Everyone already hates that season, or already hates that trilogy. I don't know why. But basically, there's 3 different trilogies to pick from. The original, the new one, and then the newer one, which is the sequel to the originals, which were prequels to the... Alright, it's too confusing. There's a list. Look it over there. But basically, there's too many trilogies to pick from. And that means which one do you pick? You'll split up the whole entire Star Wars franchise. Do you go with the original and play it safe, because that's what this all started with? Do you go with the new ones? God forbid, just skip 1 and 2 and go to 3. Or do you go with the newer trilogy, which is the more popular one nowadays, that I think is good, but not as great as the original? It's just too divided. And I just think that would be a lot of money to invest in. And considering that they're trying to release the game this year, that's a bit of a stretch. And I don't think it's going to happen. But hey, it's a wild dream, and everyone can dream. So, let's move on.
Number 9. You know what animated Disney movie I saw when I was a kid? The Black Cauldron. Oh wait, no it didn't, because it wasn't released in the UK until 1998. But it has the potential to be in a Kingdom Hearts game nonetheless. Why? Because it's a fantasy. The main character is building a sword. There's enough creativity in there so that way you can do what you need to for enough material in the game. In a way, it's a classic movie. There's followers of it that would appreciate it. Problem is, though, it's not enough. Not when the movie came out 30 years ago, and certainly not now. It might be a little too dark in terms of how it wants to portray its themes, and just... all around, there's really not enough material based on the movie to be put into the game. So as sad as that sounds, it's probably not going to happen, but I could see it happening regardless. Also, we need a live-action Black Cauldron movie. I don't need to say why.
Number 8. I love The Jungle Book. In fact, I just saw the live-action film. I loved it too. I can't deny that. It's got great characters, great locations. It's in the jungle. It's got an original story, both in live action and the original animated film. It's got everything going for it. You know, it has great bosses potentially. You know, mountain cub. It's got all these great things going for it. You know, and in terms of like how they could be transformed into that spot. I mean, hey, Sora's another man cub. Woo, look at that. You know, it's got potentially great party members. It's got everything going for it, really. And it's an original story. It's original. It's one of the older ones. Problem with that is, it is a little dated, and it is one of those things where it's like, there was a jungle theme in Kingdom Hearts 1. They were just promoting Tarzan at the time. So people might be sick of the jungle theme, and you don't put jumping and all these mechanics into Kingdom Hearts. It just doesn't work. So maybe if they iron it out and done their little spin on it, maybe it might work.
Number 7. Rescues Down Under is the better movie. The original can just go suck itself. Anyway, that said, the Down Under's movie could be potentially in a Kingdom Hearts game too. Why is that? Because Australia is really big. Like, there's potential for these locations, and if you were to shrink down to a mouse to get down with Miss Bianca and Bernard, that's there too. You could become a mouse. You could still be a person or whatever. There's so much possibilities with that alone. The problem with choosing Rescuers Down Under is that not everyone knows that movie, pretty much. They remember the original Rescuers, I don't know why. And in terms of what you could portray for enemies and bosses, the main antagonist of that movie, Down Under, is not well as known, and there's not much you can do with him. It's probably another Clayton situation where you just get a Heartless, roughage him up with him or whatever. And the enemies, you could potentially put Heartless or Nobodies in there based around the Australian animals like bandicoots, marsupials, the third one. But either way, it doesn't have as much potential to be creative as some of the other worlds that would make it into the final cut in the game and into this list too. So, as much as I can dream, no.
Number 6. Can I go mad on this one? Because I don't know anything about Treasure Planet. Oh, what the hell, I'll try my best. It's imaginative, it's creative, space pirates, it's got, potential vehicle opportunities, it's got some great ideas for party members. And the main characters themselves are actually kind of likable. The problem overall with this film, it is one of those films that was thrown under the bus, probably wrongfully. It cost a lot more money to make than they thought it would. They were just entering the 3D realm, and it just cost a whole lot more, and it just wasn't marketed that well. But, you gotta also knock it for its ambition. It was just like the film in and of itself, it's just too ambitious. It's just, there's too much going for it. It's kind of like another Kingdom Hearts world in number 2, it had Johnny Depp in it, that basically it was so underwhelming, and I'm worried that they might do the same thing. And I think if they are going to do a Treasure Planet world, it needs to be done thoroughly, take your time, and work on it, and nothing's been shown of it, so the odds of seeing it is pretty low. But hey, Matt can dream. I should have called him. He has better ideas on this one.
Also, was the Treasure Planet TV series.
Exactly.
Number 5. At this point, we love video games. Why else would we play Kingdom Hearts? But you know what would be a great mix to go with Kingdom Hearts? Wreck-It Ralph. It makes sense. It's a video game. It has some of the greatest characters in recent Disney memory. There's all sorts of creative worlds, whether it be from the first movie or even the new one coming out, or even just create its own worlds but based around those characters. And if you really want to stretch it to go for Sega or Nintendo or any kind of low-key characters on real video games, you can use that too. There's just so many possibilities to play around with the whole video game aesthetic. The problem with that is that, what was the problem? Is it because is it too obvious to be in a Kingdom Hearts game? Is it because that there's not enough that you can do with it? It would be too obvious? Like, whatever negatives you think based on a Wreck-It Ralph or world for Kingdom Hearts, it's probably gonna happen. Like I said, the sequel's coming out later this year in November, I believe. So, God forbid if Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out around that time, it would be a great tie-in, as well as the other potential worlds that could be in there, so.
Number 4. I love Pixar, and I know 2 Pixar worlds have already entered Kingdom Hearts. That'd be, Toy Story and Monsters, Inc. Sam has thought of this one. He's like, why not one of my favorite Pixar films, The Incredibles?
Yeah, can I be part of this list? Ow!
So basically, I agree with him. It should be in there. It's got great characters, great concept. It's funny. It's awesome. There's a lot of party potentials. You got all these. You got somewhat like great powers and stuff like that. You got a great villain. The problem with that is one. There's already 2 Pixar films. This is Disney. I understand Disney owns Pixar. They own the world. I get it. But we don't need 3 Pixar films in one. And I think Monster Inc. is more, in terms of character design, it's interesting. And I think Toy Story, you have to pick Toy Story. It's just a given. It's just, there's just too many Pixar films, and I understand that there's also too many party members. Like, do you get Mr. Incredible? Do you get, Elastigirl? Do you get, Dash? Do you get Violet? You get all these characters? It's just too much to handle. And I think the decision of the Pixar films, it probably did come down to the wire, because they are releasing Incredibles 2 soon. So it would have been a good tie-in, kind of like Wreck-It Ralph. But I'm pretty sure, I'll bet a lot of money on this one. They literally had 3 Pixar films across the board, and the 3 they picked was freaking Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., and Incredibles, and they probably had to make the decision, no Incredibles. But hey, we can dream, and it's got this high up on the list. There's still a possibility.
Yeah, if Disney Infinity can do it, why can't Kingdom Hearts?
You obviously saw the title card right here. It's really big, and it says nominations. So this is what's going to happen. Like I said, I wanted 3, 2, and 1, or whatever, 2 and 1, to be really close to each other, because it's not an easy decision to say, this is my best one, and this is everything below it. Because that just makes it seem less in value. So I wanted to make it where 3 or 2 things are nominated, and basically you have to make the decision. One will win, and the others are really close to that value. So we've actually picked 3 nominees, and we're going to go through them now, and then me and Sam are going to come together, and we're going to think of what we think is the best potential answer to this top 10, top 5, whatever. And in this case, what is the best world for Kingdom Hearts that we think that should be in the game, that would work the best? So let's get on those nominations.
Emperor's New Groove. Seriously guys, why not? It has everything going for it based on its source material. You got this great cast and the locations. There's plenty of it to be translated into video game form. There's so much that you can do, like what they did with Mulan or the Lion King. It could all come together naturally for a video game feel. The only con I can think of at the top of my head is that for like Sora, Donald, and Goofy, are they gonna transform into animals as well? Like, are they going to transform into llamas as well? Or like different kinds of animals? Like being creative like what they did in the movie, like the sequel to? Or heck, even the TV show Emperor's New School with something like that too? Seems like kind of a stretch to really think about for the party members at least. But other than that, why haven't you done it? Emperor's New Groove. Kingdom Hearts. Oh!
My favorite animated film of all time used to be Lion King. It really was. Everything was great about it. And it already was a world. So actually my favorite animated film of all time is Spirited Away. I love everything from that director Miyazaki. It's just everything he makes is not only looks amazing, but his storytelling is out of this world, and it's one of a kind. And so in my mind, I thought, why not make a Studio Ghibli world? Anything of Studio Ghibli. I'll take Howl's Moving Castle, My Neighbor Told You, anything. Nausicaa, hell, Nausicaa would be a perfect one. It's just got great characters. It's some of the best animations. It's that wow factor. It's like Timeless River or Space Paranoids again. It just, out of nowhere, it just happens. Like it's one of those things where it just happens out of whim and then bam, you're there. It's just that wow factor. And the other ones had that wow factor, like Pirates kind of had it, but then it lost its muster. But Studio Ghibli has fantasy going for it. It has great potential for a video game. It's got violence, it's got storytelling, it's got great characters, it's got everything going for it. Except for the one fact. Disney does not own the rights and distribution for them anymore, period. In fact, I think even then it was limited back then. Yes, they did win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. In fact, they beat it before Pixar did and before Disney. In fact, the first one was Shrek, true story. But they don't really work with them anymore. And if they came together like it's like, shake hands and do it one more time, it would be a wow factor. But I can dream. I can dream.
Atlantis. The Lost Empire. It writes itself, doesn't it? I mean, there's so much potential locations that you couldn't put in a game, whether it be under the sea or in the catacombs where they're explaining. Hell, Atlantis, the city on its own, is big enough to explore the favorite characters, because those characters in the movie, they're some of the best supporting characters I've ever seen in a Disney movie. And the villain, I mean, he could be kind of lackluster, but he could be absorbed by the powers of, like, the crystal or even from the Heartless. You know he can do that, and just, there's so much potential for Atlantis to be in the Kingdom Hearts game Does anyone actually remember it though? Like, if you saw it randomly in a Kingdom Hearts game, would people be like, "Oh, what's this? Do I want to see the movie?" That while they're playing through it, they just at the back of their minds like, "Oh, I want to go to the world of Toy Story and blah 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 blah." But when you get around to it, Atlantis fits in Kingdom Hearts. Like, just the location on its own should speak volumes all on its own. Like, you're a fool. You're a fool if you deny it, I say. Hate it. Not Atlantis, I mean, me.
So now's the big reveal. You know, normally they just tell you what number 1 is in most of the videos. Watch Mojo, I believe, does like honorable mentions. And we're not really care about honorable mentions. We just care about the 10 to 1. Though we did do a mini Inner Worlds before. But hey, ignore that. But basically, now we're going to decide the winner. So at this point, you're really only see the winner. It's just me and Sam are going to discuss what we think truly is the winner of those 3 nominations. And then we're going to pick the winner. We're going to tell you what it is. I already know who's winning.
Yeah, it's obvious. Let's go. Atlantis. Yeah, I mean, makes sense, doesn't it?
It's the most obvious choice. I mean, it's an underrated film.
Exactly.
It's got a great location, some of the best supporting characters. It's got great action set pieces and potential for great key played moments.
Yeah, and even if they didn't like have the material to go on the TV show anyway, just the main movie on its own, there's just enough material in there.
Atlantis has, I mean, I understand Leonard Nimoy's dead, and he did voice another character in Kingdom Hearts. He was in Kingdom Hearts already.
See, you got half the work done.
He's dead, but the point is that it's the location in of itself is not Atlantica, it's Atlantis. You got a water battle. So, you see, he said himself, the Kingdom Hearts development of 3, it says they're bigger worlds. They're bigger. There's a lot more to do. It's less leaving and then coming back. So you got all these segments that could work. And you talked about that, the Crystal Part and Infused or the Heartless. Great idea. Make a great villain, or make a decent villain. Good, maybe.
Yeah, even better.
Even better.
Good lord.
So, thanks for joining us. Hopefully, you know, there's a trailer hopefully coming out near the end of April. I don't know when this is coming out. Hopefully it reaches that moment. So, one of our things could be potentially confirmed. If we are, you should follow us more because that means we might be right. I hope one of the nominations at least wins.
Yeah, you want to follow us?
You follow us either... Follow him at his spot at CCTV Studios.
Yeah, so the annotation's on my face and the annotation's on your face.
Yeah.
Just put a random video at the bottom.
You know, Dave Chipotle. You like him just as much as him.
I really hope so.
Okay, bye.
Dude, we have to hold it for 20 seconds.
We do have to hold it for 20 seconds? Okay.
Okay, wait. 2 more seconds?
Oh, thank God.